Good evening, parents. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, we just want to say welcome, and it's so nice to see you and see your faces. We are very excited to be able to offer international trips for the first time since 2018 or 19. So finally, we feel like we're getting a bit of normalcy back, and we're being able to give our middle school students those experiences that are going to last with them a lifetime.
We understand that. Thank you. We understand that not all learners want to travel internationally, or parents don't want their children to go international. So we have some local options that we'll go through first, and then we'll end with Abhishek from Luscious, who's got some international trips, and then our lovely ladies here from Camps International, who will talk to you on those trips. We'll start with the overnight trips that are obviously within the UAE, looking at to start absolute adventures. A lot of you would have come across them somewhere along the line. They offer two camp options. The first is the Plantation Camp. It is sort of exactly what you see there. Learners are taken out of their comfort zone. They have to sleep in rooms that have bunk beds, sort of six people to a room. They have separate male and female washrooms that are shared, but they are given the opportunity to participate in an array of different events, from mountain biking, trekking, canoeing, snorkeling. There are a couple of survival skills, so they really are kept busy for the week. I think out of the three local options, this is one that is a full week.
The second one is Dubai Desert Camp. So again, it's one of those camps that's designed to take our students out of their comfort zones. They're going to be camping in the desert, they're going to be doing bonfires, they're going to be doing the dune buggying and all of those types of things. There will be quite a bit of local food involved with this one as well. Just a note on all of the trips, we are able to cater for dietary needs, not necessarily dietary preferences. So if they live on chicken nuggets and fries, they might not get that. But if they have an intolerance to something, we can definitely make that accommodation.
Challenge Adventures is a grade 6 option, so we'll go there. Aventura Parks, again, you would have known or know about them. They offer day trips as well as overnight stay. I think the one that is on the cards here is a 2-night, 3-day option. If your child chooses to do this option, they will have to spend 2 days at school, at a school stay. Again, these trips are jam-packed, from zip lining to hiking, a couple of water sport activities, but very well run.
We have two diving options. The first one is an overnight option, and it is in Fujairah. So the students go for 4 nights, 5 days. They get a total of, I think, 6 dives, and they dive up to 12 meters deep, and they are PADI certified by the end of it. For this one, they do have to have a certain level of swimming under their belts already, so that's an important factor to consider.
The other diving option is Al Boom, so it's a local Dubai option. They also do swim preparation in pools. They get their dives in. I think the highlight for this one for the learners is that they get to dive in the aquarium at the Dubai Mall. So a lot of the kids enjoy that.
Again, we have lots of other local options that don't involve overnight stays.
Just one quick interjection. This is just for this audience. It was just told to me that if you did not pay for parking out front, you might want to do so because the police are on. 373C is the code.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pay for parking, people.
Sorry. Public service announcement.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Top Chef was a very popular one last year. If your child is a budding chef, they would enjoy this one. They get to go to the Top Chef studio and cook 5 different cuisines every day. Lunch is obviously included because they get to eat what they make. And yeah, it was, again, a really popular one last year.
Studio, also a highlight from last year, a very much design and technology based one. If your children are good with their hands and they like to construct different things, this is definitely an option that will, I don't know what word it is, but it'll be a highlight for them.
Stay Fit is one that we've done at DAA for many years. It involves at least one activity, usually more than one activity a day, to make sure the kids are staying fit. So some of the activities that we did just last year were yoga at the View, Top Golf, Surf Camp, Aventura Parks, and Ski Dubai.
All of these will be on this year's one as well, but we might add to that list. Space and rocketry is an amazing opportunity. If your children are interested in space adventure, they have an interest in sort of the moon, they are given the opportunity to participate in real simulations. They learn how to build rockets, to launch rockets, and then they are sort of, the lessons are prepared and presented by NASA qualified personnel.
Sustainability Camp is one that we offered last year as well, so this includes 5 day trips. It's important to note that all of the day trip options start and end at the school every day. So if they are a bus rider, they will be still on the bus, unless it's otherwise arranged. So this one involves 5 different locations around the UAE looking at different sustainability initiatives. This includes the Masdar City in Abu Dhabi, the mangroves, a farm where they get to go look at the hydroponic farming, Aventura Parks, and the Last Day of Soil Museum where they will do some planting.
The Marakai Art Studio offers a great variety of different art styles and types, from resin to painting and spinning wheels with clay, and anything that the learners make, obviously they get to keep. But it is definitely a highlight for learners that are that way inclined.
The Courtyard Playhouse is a great option for the budding actors and actresses under your roofs. They will do a ton of different theater and skit and improv classes throughout the week, and they culminate with a play in a day.
The Gold Photo Plus, another highlight from last year. Learners are sort of taught different styles and techniques to use cameras, to use their phones. I know the iPhones at the moment are sort of providing crazy photos. They are taught to take the perfect Instagram photo and selfie. No one's taught that. But they are sort of definitely educated on ways to use photography to capture those moments.
And last but not least, we do have a few on-campus options. So this one is where they'll just come to school like a regular school week, but they will not be doing regular school work. So the first option is a robotics and entrepreneur. So they're going to be looking at programs that are designed to enhance 21st century skills, and then they will work on skills such as teamwork and coding and entrepreneurship.
The second one is along the same lines, but they're looking at drones and virtual reality. Again, we have an AR workshop downstairs that we obviously make use of, and learners are sort of taught the way of the future, and their interests are made more.
Dance Infinity is another one that was offered last year and was really popular. It's done right here on this stage. So the students get to learn a different form of dance every day, and they end up doing a small performance at the end of the 5 days.
The school stay is sort of the last, well, the second last option. There is a 200 dirham charge for this one. It just guarantees a shirt and a lunch or two for that stay, but those learners are exposed to presenting skills, computer coding, physical activities usually run by our PE department, team building activities, research and development, journaling, and they are taught how to do very fancy multimedia presentations. And again, that school day for any of the ones that are on campus are 7:45 to 2:45. So a school day in essence.
And last but not least is our ES volunteering option. So some of our students want to go and say hi to their old teachers down in elementary, and we arrange for them to be the educational assistant for the week, helping out in the grade 3 to 5 classrooms.
And this is the only one that has no charge for it. Those are the options that we have to present. Abhishek from Lush Escapes is going to present on the last local trip before we get into the international options.
Good evening again. Some of you are here for the grade 6ers, and welcome to the rest of you who just joined us. My name is Abhishek. I run an outfit called Lush Escapes. We've been doing trips for young learners for over a decade now, and been associated with DAA for over 5 years. It's great to present these options to you for the middle school. And so let's kickstart with our first option, which is a local retreat that we're going to be doing for the young learners. What we envisage to do over these 4 days is basically create quite a holistic and immersive experience for the young learners. So we take them on a 4-night retreat and split that between 2 destinations. We take them to Fujairah first, followed by Hatta. But what's more, inspiring about the retreat is basically we inculcate a lot of team building activities while the students are away. So let's look at day 1. So what we do is we take them to Fujairah. They stay at a good hotel in Fujairah, but we try to, get team building experiences for the young learners to inspire them to bond together, to build camaraderie, and obviously it becomes a great learning experience for them while they are there. So we have a couple of simulations on the first day, and obviously the detailed itinerary is already uploaded on the website, and you'll have access to all of this information. So we're going to have a couple of activities on the first day. We also have a twist in the Squid Game simulation. We call it the Squad Game. It's a great initiative for the kids to actually, learn together and to basically develop a very good level of bonding, as I said before. The next day we have options for water sports. So the team building activity that we do on the next day is actually out on the beach. The weather is going to be great in February, and then followed by water sport activities during the second half. These water sport activities are both motorized and non-motorized, and we're going to be assessing the skill level of the students and the learners, and then we're going to take an informed decision which activity is going to be proposed during the stay. So after the first 2 nights, we head to Hatta, and again in Hatta we make them stay at the Hatta Fort Hotel, but this is complemented with team building activities on the first day. There are 2 simulation games that we do while the students stay at Hatta, followed by an adventure trek in the Al-Hajar Mountains in the Hatta region. And on the next day, in fact, we have a full day that we are going to be taking the students to Wadi Hub. Now, Wadi Hub is actually a great place for students to be. The entire facility is harnessed and fostered by Dubai Tourism, so we work very closely with them. And depending on the age group of the students, we're going to be pre-assigning a set of activities in a very structured format for the entire day for the kids to have. So they're going to be spending this entire day at Wadi Hub, and the next day they're going to be back in Dubai. So it's a total of 4-night, 5-day program during the week without words. Yeah, so that's the local trip that we have.
Yeah, so those are all the local options that our learners have, and now we get on to exciting ones. So this is the first one. These are the first of the international trips that we will be offering to learners.
Okay, so the first option that we have is Philippines. So a lot of our trips are actually focused on a special interest, and that's how we would like to inculcate the idea of a specific subject or a specific stream of subject that the student may be interested in while he's actually abroad. So the Philippines trip is actually focused on marine ecology. So a lot to do with biology, a lot to do with geography, a lot to do with marine biodiversity, marine ecology, so on and so forth. I'm just going to share a snapshot of the program over here, what they're going to do during the visit. Ivan, if you can just go up, please. Yeah, thanks. Got zoomed out. Yeah, great. So obviously we're going to be sharing a detailed itinerary with you, which is going to be uploaded on the website when it goes live tomorrow. But just to give you a very schematic representation of what's going to be involved, you know, Philippines is all about marine biodiversity. So this is a very detailed 7-day program. They're going to be landing in Manila. On day 1, they're going to be doing a short orientation tour of the city of Manila, get to know the culture, get to know the local inhabitants over there. And the next day, we make them fly to Palawan. So Palawan is actually one of the most revered and the most visited archipelagos within Philippines, which is known for its flora and fauna in the marine national parks. So every day we've got activities that are planned at different islands within the archipelago of Palawan. So for example, on day 2 we're going to be doing an orientation tour of the island itself, but from day 3 we're going to be doing island hopping trips to different islands. Each of these islands are actually famous for either their aquatic life or their flora and fauna on land. So it's not just going to be activities that the students or the learners are going to be doing on water, but also there's going to be a marine biologist that's going to be accompanying them while they are on the island itself to understand the species of animals or the species of plants. At a lot of the places, there are also endangered species that they're going to see and interact with while they're doing the island hopping trips. So day 3 and day 4 are actually focused on island hopping to explore the marines as well as the endangered species on the land. And then day 5 is an adventure day wherein they're going to be doing some snorkeling. They're going to be doing an island hopping with a picnic lunch. And if there are some scuba divers and party certified scuba divers, they can also get an opportunity to dive at one of the sites. So that is something which is going to be happening on an optional basis, and we're going to be sharing more information about that on the website when it goes live. And then on day 6, we have a marine biologist who is going to actually come on board and give them a workshop and a summary of everything that they have done in the first 5 days. And it's going to be more of a clay model that we're going to be doing in a workshop, which is going to summarize the entire trip that they're going to be having over the last 6 days. So that's in a nutshell what Philippines is all about. And obviously, Ivan is going to share the details of the itinerary when the website is live. Okay, the next trip that we have on hand is a cultural trip to South Africa. So South Africa has been quite close to my heart at least, and we've done many trips to South Africa to actually understand the cultural significance of the country and what it has been through in the last 5 or 6 decades. So right from the time of Nelson Mandela and how he's actually, fought against apartheid. He is, the study that actually happened for him to take on the discrimination that happened and so on and so forth. So this trip is actually a lot to do with the history, with the culture, and with the present economic strength of what the country has gone in the last 5 to 6 decades. So if I could just take an opportunity to give you a snapshot of what's going to take place when the students actually go to South Africa. The trip is actually going to be encompassed around Cape Town. So if you can see, the first couple of days is orientation to the city. We actually get a historian on board who's going to take the students and the learners to the city hall in Cape Town to give them a workshop and a lecture on Nelson Mandela's life, and post which we're going to look at different spots within the city where he had established his movement. Obviously, while the kids are in South Africa, we ensure that there is a balance between the study element as well as fun and entertainment. So we're going to take them to Table Mountain. The next day we're going to basically be taking them to certain communities in and around Cape Town. South Africa is not complete without visiting a wildlife reserve or a wildlife sanctuary. So we're going to do a trip to a Cheetah Outreach project, which has been running close to a place called Stellenbosch, which is close to Cape Town. They are harnessing the upkeep and the livelihood of cheetahs over there. And then the last 2 days actually are more fun because we're going to be taking them to the Cape of Good Hope and Boulders Beach to see the penguins, so on and so forth. So it's a great immersive experience, very holistic, great combination of culture, education, history, as well as some entertainment. So I'm sure the kids will have a great time. So those are the couple of international trips that we are doing. I hand it over back to Ivan.
Perfect, thank you, Abhishek. There are wonderful opportunities there. South Africa is my choice, but it's mine. Do you want to take it here? We've got Alice here from Camps International is going to, are you both going to, and Laura, they're going to chat to us about the rest of the trips that are available. Again, in alignment with what Abhishek has said, we are looking to provide the best options and opportunities for our learners.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's wonderful to be back at DAA. So I'm Laura from Camps International.
And I'm Alice from Camps International.
And we are going to talk you through 5 different options that we have. We've got 3 service options, 2 Adventures by Camps options, and we will go through exactly what they mean. They're all 8 days long, and they all comprise of 4 main components, which we will talk to you about. So for any of you that don't know Camps International, we were born in 2002. We were actually known as Camp Kenya way back when, and that was our only camp that we had open. Since then, we've had more volunteers travel with us from the Middle East, schools in the UK, Australia, Southeast Asia, lots of different places, which means we're able to invest in more communities in different areas and open up more camps, which means we can do more outreach to different communities. So we're proud to say that we employ over 150 staff in the local communities that we work in. So we're able to provide employment in areas where there is little or absolutely none. We've got a British director based in every single continent that we work in, so they are on ground overseeing all of our operations along with all of our local staff that work there. And basically, all of our camps operate 365 days a year. So we are a social enterprise, we're not a charity, we're not an NGO. And what that means is that we are for profit, so we can reinvest those profits back into different areas of the business to continue growing and continue having an impact. We don't have a long list of countries that we can take you to because we are based in certain areas for certain reasons to really have a grounding and to understand that community from day one. It takes us about 9 months to a year to be able to build up any type of relationship with a community. and then it's them that tell us what they need. We never get involved in projects that we think they need. It always comes directly from them, and then that is what your son and daughters will be hands-on involved in. So step one, talking to the local community, understanding what it is that they need. We start with a plan which is usually around 2 years, and it can last up to about 5 years, and then we'll hand that over to the local community and then move on to help another community while still supporting anyone else. All of our camps are built on local land, using local material by local staff, so your students are going to have a very different experience. It's not a vacation, it's not a 5-star holiday, but this is going to be something that is going to be fantastic for them. The work they're going to do is going to create real impact, and they're going to see that impact directly because they'll be working alongside the local communities, and then 365 days a year is how long we kind of continue every single day going along to make sure that we're having the impact that we promised in the beginning. DAA have worked with Camps International for a really long time, for many different reasons, but we do hold quite a few accreditations and awards. There is a lot more information about this on our website, but just a few. So we are British Standard Compliant for Health and Safety. We hold the BS 8848 badge. That is an annual assessment, so we are continually assessed to ensure that we're meeting those excellent standards of health and safety. We're part of the Expedition Providers Association, expedition providers coming together to share best practice. We're one of the few providers that hold the Learning Outside the Quality Classroom badge. That does what it says on the tin. We provide quality learning outside of the classroom, which has been missing for such a long time, so it's fantastic to be back. And again, as I said, more information on the website. On the website for DAA trips, again, this information will be there in a bit of a different format. So included in the cost of the trips is all the big things that you would expect, so the flights, the accommodation, the food, the transport and things like that. I want to draw your attention to the two at the bottom, so 24-hour emergency support. Parents will have a Camps International emergency phone number. We are in direct contact with the leadership team at the school, and that is the communication chain. So you've obviously got your expedition leaders and your teachers that will be with the school students on their trips, and then you have a point of contact here in Dubai. We are based in Dubai, so you can get hold of us at any point for an emergency. If it's not an emergency, you can have my mobile number, you can phone the head office and just chat to us to see what the students have been up to. Reserve location and book with confidence. These are two things that go hand in hand. So we follow the advice of the FCDO, the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, and the UAE government. If they were to advise us closer to your departure of February that it's not safe to take the students to one of the locations, then we will move that expedition to another one of our locations. They have a similar itinerary and still get to go on the trip that they were really looking forward to. And again, book with confidence, that is on our website, so you can read through that in more detail. The things not included, again, we will go through loads more information about this when you decide which trip that you do want to sign up to. Passports and visas will depend on the nationality of the passport. Vaccinations, again, we're not medical professionals, we can't advise what your sons and daughters should have, what they've already had. Please do your own research. Every time I travel, I use an NHS website, it's called Fit for Travel, really helpful, you can find out more information. Insurance excess, travel to and from the airport, we'll figure out closer to the time. Spending money and then kit. So spending money, they're not going to need more than $100 US, depending on where they go. They will absolutely bring in souvenirs back for you guys. And then kit, we provide all of the students with a specific kit list, specific to the itinerary that they'll be doing to make sure that they are well prepared. What we always encourage is that you get your son and daughter to be accountable for their trip, print off their own kit list, tick it off as they go and say, Mum, Dad, I need a head torch, I need a travel towel, I need this, I need that, and then it's their trip, and then they pack their own bag. That's the start of the process. So I'm going to hand over to Alice, who's going to talk you through the different trips.
Okay, so as Laura said, we've got 3 service expeditions and 2 adventure on offer for grade 8 DAA students. So firstly, we're going to talk about the 3 service expeditions. So they comprise of Borneo, Cambodia and Kenya, and for those of you that don't know, Borneo and Cambodia are in Southeast Asia and Kenya is in Eastern Africa. So each of these service expeditions will comprise of 4 key elements. That's going to be their community aspect, the environmental, the wildlife, and they will have an epic adventure from beginning to end, no doubt. Now, all of our camps at Camps International are co-located within the local communities, so as Laura said, they will be living just a short walk or drive away from the projects and the local communities that they will be helping. Now, all of our projects co-align with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Now, hopefully by this point your children, would know about these, and if not, you certainly do. They are 17 Planet Development Goals with a time frame of 2030, and this is essentially to ensure that no country and no individual is left behind. So while your students going on a service expedition in particular, they're going to feel a real sense that they're making a contribution to the UN solution and knowing that they're doing their part to improve the world. So when they get to country, they're going to be teamed up with local tradespeople, and these are going to teach them some low-level construction skills. They're then going to use local materials and build in local traditional ways. We don't want to build differently to what they are used to and what they know. We want to keep in line with what is in the country existing. So this could be cement mixing, painting, all kinds of different skills that they will learn. They will no doubt have some little helpers that will try to distract them from their project work and try and get them to play football, but we'll try to keep them on track and helping. Now, it will be hard work. As Laura said, this is not necessarily a holiday. It's going to be hard work, but the service aspect is really important and it is really rewarding. So it may be difficult, but no doubt when they come back, they'll be really happy that they went. Now, moving on to Borneo for now. So when they travel to their project work, they're going to get a boat down the Kinabatangan River, and as they float along the river, they are going to be followed by proboscis monkeys. Now, these are going to make a racket on the way down. But it is very enjoyable to see nonetheless, because you want to see these animals in the wild. Now, Borneo is home to 10 different primates, including the endangered orangutan, and there are only, in fact, 2 countries in the world where you can see these in the wild, of course, Borneo being one of them. Many of our students have been fortunate enough to see them, but if they don't, for whatever reason, they'll have the opportunity to visit Orangutan Sanctuary, and this is where orphaned babies and the endangered orangutans are rehabilitated and then re-released back into the wild. They'll then have the opportunity to visit the Sun Bear Conservation Centre. So when they go here, they're going to chat and find out about the conservation work that is going to protect these unique bears. Again, time interacting with the locals. It's something that students don't necessarily say that's on their top. They always want to see the wildlife. But when they come back, they always love the relationships that they've built with the people in country. So in Cambodia, they're going to be heavily involved in permaculture and reforestation projects. This is to help the local giants. A lot of farmers that are in Cambodia, due to the Khmer Rouge reign in 1975, a lot of the land has been decimated, so we really want to help these locals be able to live off the land sustainably as they do now. And then any excess crops, for example, that they grow, they can sell for an income within their local community. Also, any reforestation is going to help people, this is not a person, guys like this little monkey here, to have a home. Again, interaction with the locals is really a highlight. They're going to be able to visit the S21 prison and the killing fields. They're going to learn a lot about this, and it is a sad day, but it is incredibly humbling to know that within our lifetime all what has happened. They'll visit Angkor Wat, and just as I said to some of the students earlier this morning, the picture here doesn't do it justice. It's incredible here, but actually physically in front of you, it is a monumental thing, and it really is amazing. So they're going to have time, they're going to have a guided tour whilst here, and they're going to have time to explore the lost temples that are there also. Now moving on to Kenya. Now Kenya holds a special place in my heart. I actually went on expedition with camps 10 years ago with my school in the UK. So everyone, I'm like, you must go to Kenya because I love it. So they're going to have time with the Timani Women's Group. Now this is a local group empowering women, and it really is fantastic to see. They're also going to have time to make some elephant dung paper. Now it is exactly what it says. And at first they never want to get involved, but the outcome and the end result really is amazing. So locals can then sell this to generate an income. We can't take them to Kenya without going on a trek and also in turn going on safari. So they'll have a list, no doubt, to see the big 5. Of course, we hope they do, but this is the wild, so it cannot be guaranteed, unfortunately. But here, all of these the photos that you see here are actually taken by students. So you can see just how close that they get to the wildlife, which is amazing. Now the accommodation will vary from location to location, but of course it will be boys on one side and girls on the other. And your food and drink, as Laura previously said, is all included. So they'll get local meals, Western meals, and any dietary requirements we will be able to cater for. Now moving on to the adventure side. So there are 2 adventure expeditions on offer, Nepal and Thailand. So Nepal is in Southeast Asia and is landlocked between China and India, and it is the country with the greatest altitude change in the world, which I think It's quite a cool fact, to be honest. Thailand is also in Southeast Asia, so there are a lot of Asia options internationally for the students this year. Whilst they're in Nepal, they're going to be able to visit, again, World Heritage sites, but they're going to have lots of different adventure components whilst there. So they're going to be able to go rock climbing, white water rafting, canyoning, and then meeting with a local school. So whilst they're here, they're really going to be able to work as a team whilst having a lot of fun at the same time. Now Kenya, I said earlier to students, if you don't know where to go, please go to Kenya. It is my absolute favourite. They're going to be able to visit the temples, really get a taste for Thai hospitality, learn how to cook local dishes, go on an eco trek for 2 days, at which they travel through the Phoenix Adventure Parks. They're going to cross 29 different obstacles as they route through. And as well, they're going to then see the Asian elephants. So from a personal development perspective, their confidence from day 1 to day 8 on expedition with us, we've seen it time and time again, how their confidence just really grows. From the beginning when they're given a kit list, it all starts, they get excited for the trip, they then go away without their parents, on a flight. It is really just as build and progress, they'll come back potentially a different person, but for the better, of course. With their team are going to be their peers and the people that are there to support each other. I personally am still friends with the people who I went on expedition with 10 years ago, because you've been on this incredible adventure that not everyone is fortunate enough to go on. So it really does bring this kind of bond that you just can't get with some other people, unfortunately. And from a CV enhancement perspective, again, your children do not need to think about this right now. But it really does make them stand out from the crowd when they've got to give an example of something in an interview. We're going to pass to me.
So I'm going to talk you through, so hopefully that's given you a bit of inspiration about the 5 different trips that we have on offer with Camps International. I'm going to talk you through safety, security and things like that, but again, you guys will go away with our details, so any questions you can get in touch. So all of the transport that we use for the service trips is fully owned and operated by Camps International, and for the adventures trips is operated by a third party fully vetted by Camps International. So your students will be safe as they're travelling between the different camps and the different areas and itineraries whilst they're with us. All of the seatbelts will be working. We work with highly experienced drivers, and the expedition leader with the team will be checking transport before students do go on it. We do have a 3-step safety system. So step 1, whatever trip you go on with us, you will have your teacher chaperones plus a qualified expedition leader from Camps International. That qualified expedition leader has a minimum of a 16-hour outdoor first aid qualification, and they will be carrying extensive first aid kit with them. We do put on the kit list, students should have like a mini first aid kit, so if they've got like a scratch or something, we support them to kind of look after it. But we do have an extensive first aid kit with us. Teacher chaperones and expedition leaders will be with the group of students at all times. Never will students be on their own to fend for themselves. They'll be very well looked after. Step 2, we're never far away from a medically approved facility. So I said at the beginning there's an insurance excess, that is $100. We want students to carry that in an envelope separately. Hopefully they will come home with it, or you guys will get a message at the airport saying, can I spend it on the way back? But usually if a student does get seen at a medical facility and it comes under that $100, they will pay for the treatment. If it goes over, the insurance kicks in, which will cover them. Our travel insurance does include COVID-19 cover as well. So if on the lead up to the expedition, about 2 weeks before you depart, if a student was to test positive for COVID-19, they wouldn't be able to travel, unfortunately. You would just need to let us know. We would then go through our insurance to get you guys a refund. And then step 3, for any necessary medical reason, a student needed to be repatriated, so flown back here to the UAE, that is covered under our insurance and of course under the cost of the expedition as well. You are fully supported by Camps International, so we've got a head office in the UK, and then you've got us here in Dubai, and then of course you've got all of our staff over in all of the different areas that we work in to support your students to make sure they get through their 8 days as healthy and as happy as possible. Once you've signed up with us, you get access to the Traveller Gateway. All of the information is on here that you're going to need for your expedition. Point students towards the kit list, they can print it off and get cracking with it and start packing. And yeah, all of the details will be on there. We're going to run through what you need to do. I know school has got a lot of information about what you need to do to be able to secure the place for your son or daughter. There's 2 things. Register them online with us after you've obviously chosen your selection, and then of course pay your deposit to the school accounts team. And then once you've done that, their place is secure on the trip. A lot more information will be sent out by school for you. Just before we finish, we've got a video which will kind of bring to life what we've just said. I would sing, but my voice isn't. We'll skip it. Is it not working? No, don't worry. Okay, well that was a lovely video, but unfortunately it's not going to play. Oh. Sounds not very good. Don't worry, we're going to skip it. You guys have been here for a long time. So do you want to, thank you so much for listening. We are here to support you. You'll have all of our details. If you've got any questions after you get home tonight, or anyone listening in at home, please feel free to get in touch.
Thanks so much, ladies. Yeah, amazing opportunities, and we will go through
Okay, so we just want to share with you a few details now before you get to go home and talk to the kids and find out which ones they're interested in. There is a pretty tight timeline, and it's very important. In order to secure these trips, especially the international ones, we need to be able to put the deposit down before another school can. Currently, we have them reserved, but we do need to be able to do that. So, we're going to hopefully answer a couple of questions, but we want to definitely have you all go and talk to your kids about these opportunities. Which one is suitable for you and your family, suitable for your kids. Really look through those itineraries to see what it entails. So if it is camping and your child is more of a 4 or 5 star kind of kid, it's not for them. If it's an activity with a lot of water and they're not really confident swimmers, it's probably not for them. So please, please, please have those conversations.
Also, if they can have their conversation with their friends prior to sort of getting onto the 4 minutes, so there's a chance that they get to be with their friends. It is not guaranteed. What we've decided is that grade 8s get first preference on the trips. It is a first come, first serve basis, and we'll do that on a timestamp on the forms. Again, the timelines are quite tight. So tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. the forms go live, and then again first come, first serve, and they need to be completed and filled in by Sunday the 2nd. Again, super fast, but we need the timeline to be like that, just so that we can start putting the trips together, getting the relevant information out to parents, and then those deposits can be made by the following Sunday.
I guess one of the last things that we want to just mention is that Week Without Walls is an opportunity for our kids to not only get out of class, but to get out of their comfort zone. We want to push their boundaries. We don't, however, want to break them. So do please have these conversations with your kids. You know them better than anyone else. Make sure that they're making a choice that is suitable for them. Not necessarily comfortable, but suitable for them. This is going to be an incredible experience no matter what choice they pick, and something that they're going to remember for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you have any international questions, the ladies from camps are going to set up outside in the sort of lobby area. If there are any local trip questions, you can hang around and ask me. And if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for coming. Sorry, do you want to ask a question?
How to reach out to this? I heard from my daughter's phones are not allowed. Can you just send the phone and just contact them morning and night and just keep the phone in the
So for many years, DAA has been doing these trips, and the middle school has never allowed phones, and that's going to continue. There will be, however, a phone with the trip leader. So especially for those international trips, what usually happens is they set up an Instagram account. We're posting throughout the day. You're going to see a picture of your child, at least with its stories, etc. No news is good news, is our policy.
So all the trips are available to grade 7 and 8s. So the limitations are grade 6s are only allowed local options. The international trips, as well as the local options, are for 7 and 8s. Yes.
All of it is on the website that's been sent out, includes the date. So if you're doing an international trip, it's not necessarily the Monday to Friday. It might be we're leaving that Friday right after school, or they might even miss Friday school, but they will have at least one day on either side to recover.
Usually it's a weekend to weekend as opposed to weekend to weekend. So instead of a week flight, so you're going to leave on Saturday evening, arrive Saturday morning. So it's not necessarily that week. So,
Yeah, with regards to the tour, students will have
correct. So it's first, second, third choices, and they will get one of the three.
Yeah, but that will be based on
First come, first. Yeah.
it's not going to be like last year that
No,
we
not the lottery.
all
No, first come, first.
How many
They vary for the different options. Again, so some of them are larger than others. I think 30 is kind of a minimum, and then I think 70 is the maximum.
And that would be split into multiple
Yeah.
groups.
So that won't be a one cohort. They'll split them and they'll do different things. Prior to leaving.
Ask the ladies outside. So the question is, if you've paid the deposit and then there's a medical emergency like a broken leg, would you get the deposit back? You'll have to ask the ladies outside. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, so no, you're 100% right. So Oman is a company called Compass. They were unable to be here today, but I wouldn't say it is the most affordable option internationally, because it is relatively close by. I think you're looking at about 5,000 for the week. But again, we're just trying to provide options for all the different families. And again, if the cohort is large enough, we can usually split into 2 trips. Yeah, sorry. The itinerary. So it is on the website. So when you click on it, we'll have the itinerary in Oman. Absolutely. On the website, the prices are all there. Yeah.
Like the prices when they're all in a list, the prices are jumping, and inside some of them have different prices. Which prices?
So the prices that are there are based on what they've spoken to me about. The ones in there are proposals that are given initially, so they might have changed slightly based on flights. But once you've selected your trip, the next email that you get from me is with specific details, deposits required, full amounts, and the full itinerary. Yes. They're all the same week, the week of the 27th of February to the 3rd of March, and give or take a couple of days on each side. Any other questions? On the website, there's a frequently asked questions tab, and there are loads of questions there already. If there are some that are not answered, my email address as well as Martha Baxter's email address is there. Please ask the questions. We want to give you as much information as we can to help you with your decision. Thank you so much for coming. Good to see you in person. Thank you to those online. So you will get to the websites in your link now, so you have all this information. So unfortunately, we didn't contract with it. Accommodate for one, we've got to accommodate for all. So it's first, second, third, and then we'll
Good.
Again, so if it's
Yeah, we can cut it.
first 7 tick that as their first option, we'll get their first option.